Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Central Screen Services LLC, in collaboration with Mask & Sons Incorporated. All screen services are available. We offer a variety of colors, durability, and sizes for all your screening needs. Pool areas, patios, and more. Call 352-603-4099 today for your free estimate. Proudly serving all of Citrus, Sumter, Hernando, Lake, and Pasco counties. To find out more, check them out on Facebook. Duto Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it. Helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right. Today we have a very special guest, former UF softball player and champion, national champion. It's a great honor to have her on the show, Miss Kirsti Merritt-Jessmer. Kirsti, welcome to the Goblay Show. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I feel like I haven't talked softball or sports in like 3 years, just because I feel like I'm just always talking to a 2-year-old now. After we won, after we made that last out, which it was hit back to Hannah, which is fitting, like a little dribbler back to Hannah, and she threw it to first.
Threw the glove up.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was so.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I just remember getting up from the dog pile and just like seeing my family and thinking like, this is it. This is what, like that feeling I will never, I never got back until like I had kids. Like that's the type of feeling, like you worked so hard for this. Like my parents, my family, they all worked so hard for this. And then I also looked up and saw Heather's mom, and she's just crying. Oh yeah. Because like Heather was like, she was there with us. Right. So that was a moment. Probably one of the most special times that, you know, that's a significant thing in my life.
Yeah. That is so cool. Yeah. I was gonna ask you about the sunflowers. I'm glad you transitioned that in, because that's such a cool thing. What a sweet way to honor someone. To tribute. And I had heard. I often wanted the same thing because I really didn't know too much about it, and then I heard the story of why, and I was like, that is so cool. But that moment you said, like I said, when she flung the glove up, that's all I can see right now in my mind is she steps on the bag and throws her glove up in the air, and then just everybody just goes crazy. And I mean that's what it's all about. Yeah. Y'all, that's that moment where you go, that goes back to the very first day you went to practice or whatever, all these years, talking about even when you were a kid, that made it, you had to wait that long, but it was so worth it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was a very, I'm sure it was super emotional. Yeah. But what a really cool moment. That's awesome.
Yeah, you do. Like now when you think back to it, you just kind of go through in your mind, you're just going through all of those memories and moments, and it's all leading up to it. So it's pretty.
Now, what was your now before the last out? Were you like, all right?
Well, before the last out was I made a diving catch.
I know.
Yeah, it was like a little flare by a little lefty slapper, and I just dove and caught it. And then I think that a lot of I don't remember who said it, but they're like, that was the moment that I absolutely knew. Like, there's no way that I'm like, well, yeah, we only have one out to go, and we were up by 4. Yeah. But they're like, it really solidified. This team is never going to come back. This is going to be, we're going to be the champions. It's when after I made that diving catch.
Well, that not only that, you deflate what little bit of hope that Alabama had. And they're just like,
Yeah, because even Haley McClenny came up after that girl and hit like a double or a triple to right. And we weren't even worried. We were like,
whatever.
You're awesome, Haley. Go do your thing. Because she was awesome.
That's cool. And did you, I mean, having said that, did you have any other, like, people you played against, you're like, man, that girl's awesome?
Yeah, I did.
Besides her, I mean.
Yeah. So I was hardcore. I didn't like to play against anyone. I hated everybody that we played against. So her, and it didn't help that we were always compared to her. Like since she was the center fielder, she was close to the top of the lineup. I was always compared to her, and I always kept saying, "I am better than her," but she probably is better than me. She's better than me. So she stood out. Sierra Romero. I always liked playing against her. Didn't like her. I always liked playing against her. She was a second baseman for Michigan, who we played in the championship in 2015.
Right.
So I like playing against her. I don't know why. I don't have people that I like to play against.
Right, but I mean, when I say that, I mean, like, I don't want to say like your friends, just like you like.
I can respect them.
You tip the hat.
Yeah, I can respect them. You know. Yeah, Sierra Romero, I can respect her. Haley McClenny, I can respect. I'm trying to think back.
Or when you're like on the field and they hit one, you're like, oh my gosh, that's just amazing.
Yeah, it's mostly my teammates that I can think of. Like,
well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people, whether you love them or you hate them, it's like one of those love-hate. Yeah. I remember, this is totally off subject, but I'm going to say it anyways. Went to a Magic game years ago, and Dirk Nowitzki played for Dallas, and big Magic fan. I'm like, yeah. He starts shooting, and he doesn't miss. And I go, are y'all ready to go? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this guy ain't going to miss. And they killed. I mean, they beat us by 10 points or something. Like, but he was just on. When somebody's on like that, you can't. There's no stopping them.
Yeah.
You know, you just have that moment, and you're like, just like, I'm sure those Alabama girls were like, we got this. Smack to center field, you dived. Well, guys, it was good while it lasted. You know what I mean? Like, because we can back it up. Yep. Yeah. You know, but I don't know. Just when an athlete gets like that.
Skylar Wallace right now, she is just on, and I don't think that there's anybody that can beat her right now.
Yeah.
She is just amazing. I can just tip. Yeah, I would. If I wouldn't even pitch her if I was a pitcher.
Right.
She is just going nuts.
Wow. So post game, did you get interviewed? Did you say I was in my?
I feeling myself? No, I got much better at interviews after that. I can't remember. Did I get interviewed? I think I might have stayed behind for an interview because I hit a home run, and Aubrey hit a home run that game, which is really cool for her because she wasn't a home run hitter to hit it off Jackie Trina. I think I did go in for an interview, but I remember when everybody got done with their interviews and came back to the not the dugout, the locker room. Mm-hmm. We were all in a circle singing "We Are the Champions." I have a video of it.
Yeah.
We were just partying hard. It was
so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. If we had the goggles and stuff, we probably would have been doing that. But we didn't do it at that. I don't think we did it back then. But now it's like a thing. I think they might, if they won a championship, they put the goggles on, shake the stuff up.
Yeah. That's what. You know why they put the goggles on? Because it'll burn your eyes.
Burn your eyes, yes. Yeah, I've done it before.
A lot of people are like, why do they put the goggles?
I did it with the Pride once when we won a championship, and then I did it. Did I do it with the US? No, I didn't do it with the USA team. They did end up doing it, though.
Gotcha.
The USA team did.
So you guys champions, you win you get your big flashy ring you got. Mm-hmm. Well, that was just the first.
Yeah. And it was actually the second because you get a ring to win SEC.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's right.
So we got both at the same time.
Right.
They're both huge.
So that would have been your second SEC ring. No, you didn't win the SEC. You did win it sophomore year.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have two SEC rings.
Two natties. And I have 3 SEC rings and 2 natties. I have 5 rings total.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, yeah. So yeah, and I've actually gotten to see those rings. They're pretty sweet.
They
not gonna
are.
lie.
Yeah. And that 2014 one is my favorite.
Well, yeah, that's your
the whole design.
The design, and
everything.
it's your first.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So the next year, going into the season, how do you guys feel? Do you guys feel like hey, you know what? We've already done this. We know what we're doing now. Was there a sense of, did people still take it serious when they went, like, let's go to work? I'm sure your coach was like that. But how was the locker room mentality?
It's pretty much the same because each year is just like a clean slate. Right. There was never like a time that we got entitled and thought that, we can just cruise through this.
Right.
There might have been, but I think all on a whole, we were pretty hardcore, and just remembering that. And it's hard because when you win a national championship, you win and you're like, now what do we do next?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm going to go home for my month and a half, and then I'm going to come back. And then I got to do it all over again.
Right.
And you're like, is this what I'm going to have to keep doing, highs and lows the whole time?
Yeah.
And it really is. So at that beginning of the not preseason, but off season, that's what it is. You're just having to work your tail off all over again to do the same thing that you did the year before. So there wasn't a time where we felt entitled or anything, which Coach Walton was good about keeping us from that, because I remember my freshman year, you're so excited to come in. I get all this skater gear because you've seen all your friends, kind of do it, which I didn't have a lot of friends that went and played. But I came in and we look at all our stuff. It don't have not one gator head, not an F, not a gator head, not one thing. That was my freshman year. And Coach Walton, he was pretty much saying, you have to work for your gator head.
Yeah.
You're not going to come in here. We're not entitled just because you are going to the university or played softball for the University of Florida. You haven't earned anything yet.
Absolutely.
I was looking like, can I just get one gator head? Like, can I get something? So that whole fall, we didn't get anything. We were just playing. I think like 20 t-shirts to just plain orange shirts that we would practice in, that we would do our 6 a.m.s in.
Yeah.
And then after our last fall game, we walked in to the locker room, and all of our stuff had gator heads on it.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was probably the coolest moment. And Coach Walton says that too. Like, that was one of the best moments for him, just to see how excited we were to get, because now you go in and like, all right, I got my stuff. Let's go to practice.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty smart thing for him to do to start us. That's probably what started also a great 4 years for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, it makes you more appreciative of the things, like when you work hard for something and it's not just like laid out there, like, and it makes you feel like they care more.
Yeah, because
you have something that you didn't have, and they knew you had the potential to get that. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. I mean, that's a very cool way to do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So then in 2015, I think that we didn't let ourselves get that way to feel entitled. Like, oh, we won a national championship. We're just going to cruise through this year, because we knew he could take our Gatorheads away at any time. The freshmen coming in and the sophomores didn't know that, but our class we knew we did not want that to happen again. And the class ahead of us, obviously, we were like, we don't want that to happen again. Right. So we kind of just worked hard through the whole thing.
Did your teammates? I know you had a great group of girls around you that were very competitive and they were very athletic. Did you have any ones that? I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, did you have anybody that was like, more so like they were so competitive, like not just in softball, but like when y'all were just like a card game?
Kelsey Stewart. Me and Kelsey Stewart, and I am very competitive. So me and Kelsey Stewart almost fought at practice, I remember. Yes, bad.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oof. And I remember you talking to Uncle John about the cousins fighting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how, like, I could have punched Kelsey Stewart in the face. So we, in the off season in fall, you can't play games except for like 6.
Right.
So you're playing each other in orange and blue games. So you have a bunch of competitive people playing to win trying to win against each other, but they're teammates. But then Coach Walton would also put if the losing team has to pick up home run balls. And picking up home run balls was terrible. Nobody wants to pick up home run balls, or they have to sweep. You have to do. And so I remember one of the time it was okay, the losing team has to, they have to do everybody else's chore because everybody has a chore after, kind of like the equipment, has to do everybody else's chore. And I can't remember what happened. And then Stuart said something. Oh, I got hit by a pitch. Yeah, I remember I like to get hit by pitches. I got hit by a pitch, and so I ran it first, and Kelsey's just running her mouth. She likes to do that, which I love it when it's against another team. But when you're playing against her, she was running her mouth. And then Coach Walton had me steal the next pitch, and probably Aubrey was catching. I got thrown out. And Kelsey just talking her smack. I said, I can't remember what I said to her. My girl, if you want to get punched, you better keep running your mouth because you're about to get punched. And then the next day, me and Stuart's back friends. But yeah, she was me and her were probably the two most competitive on the team.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, and that's something you need to have. Mm-hmm. You need that competitive nature. You need that person that's gonna. Like I said, it's not just the coach. You need a teammate as well to push you over that little push to kind of get you either going or over that mark where you're just not quite there. And then you're good. You know what I mean? Just being a good teammate. That's all it is. But like I said, you had a great squad the year before, and now it's your junior year. And let's see, I have you down as, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Now you're batting 325. Mm-hmm. So you went up from 299 to 325. You have 9 home runs and 47 RBIs.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing is in your stats so far is you're the utility player. You're not the, I'm going to break a record besides getting hit by a pitch. Yeah. But you're not, and that's how, when I played, I was just content with a single versus I'm not trying to hit it over the scoreboard. You know what I mean? If I can help drive a run in, I mean, that's the same thing as a home run in my book. I mean, I don't score, but you know what I'm saying? Like a utility player, I think utility players don't get the love that they should, that they deserve. And so do you consider yourself that, or do you consider yourself like a power player? Or, I mean, your home runs have gone down a little bit, just by 1 though. No, I'm sorry.
4.
4. Yes, 13-9. So, and your RBI's gone down, but your production was still.
Yeah, and that year I was in a different spot too. So that sophomore year I hit second a lot, and Stuart was on most of the time. So my junior year, Nicole DeWitt had came in, and so she was hitting second a lot, and I was in the 6th spot. So we got different things. So
different approaches.
That's why, different approaches. That's why my batting average went up probably to 325 because I was having to get on more.
Right.
Because you have before me, when you hit 6, you have the power hitters.
Right.
3, 4, they're hitting home runs.
Right.
They're not really getting walked. Well, some of them did get walked a lot.
But you don't want to start that way off. You want to try to throw a strike down the middle. Yeah.
So I had a different approach in that year. That in my senior year is kind of different, I think. Because then, my senior year, Amanda came in. So I was more in the 6 hole. I would bounce back between 2 and 6 junior year. So that's why it's kind of a different stats, especially the RBIs.
So your senior year, not to go ahead, but your senior year, you have your best average. Mm-hmm. So
I think it was a 340 or 330.
331.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 331, 8 home runs and 44 RBIs. Mm-hmm. So
kind of the same thing.
You're consistent with the home runs. I mean, except for the one year you had 13?
Yeah,
that was your breakout year. You know what I mean?
That was my year that probably I could have gotten in an All-American status. I was up for it, but I didn't just quite get it.
Well, and you also got to take in consideration when you're newer and they don't, because your freshman year, what was it?
6 home runs.
You had 6 home runs.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So you were kind of like under the radar.
Mm-hmm. And I was small, Sumter County person. Right. They don't really know much about. Wasn't recruited heavily.
They throw you straight. They're like, let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
So, but that's awesome. You can see that. I just wrote that down and didn't realize you can see the progression of how you got better.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, you put on in a good way.
Weight.
You put on weight.
Yeah.
And so that contributes a lot.
Yeah.
You got more power and
faster. Everything.
So junior year, can you give me your favorite? You got a game that stands out the most your junior year? Like, do you think you got I'm just trying to pick your brain to see how well you remember your junior year. You have a game that stands out and you go, you know what? That was my best game.
Was that the year where I had that catch? I can't remember.
The center field catch?
Yeah.
I believe so.
That was?
Yes, I want to say so because I think because you won the championship that year, and it was just all that one. All that was just one big blur to me. I mean, I kept up with it, but like you said, you tend to forget the little things, and you don't quite know when exactly this game was or when whatever. But the game that I will tell you that I remember is, well, first of all, not too long ago, gosh, it's been a couple months. Well, maybe last month. Alabama played, I want to say South Alabama or North, something like that. A smaller school in Alabama. And the girl, the fence on the outside was like construction fence, like the orange one.
It's probably like a temporary one.
Yeah, like a temporary fence. I'm like, so she's diving, catches the ball and lands on the
other
fence.
side.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I put up plenty of that. I'm like, if she would have fell on that T-post, she'd have been pulling it out of her side, But she caught the ball. She made a great catch. And that was like not a top, it was a top 10, but it really, something like that. It was just a highlight. And I wanted to put your catch versus that catch and say who did it better, because you caught the ball over the wall, came down and still threw out someone at first base.
Yeah. That would probably stand out the most to me, because that was
absolutely
what amazing. You practiced for. That's the one that you practiced
and
for.
I had no idea that you would even try to even practice that. I mean, that's just
Coach Walton is the most precise hitter. He could literally spot the balls and then he would just.
And y'all actually practice that.
Yeah, so we call them game winners. So he would say, all right, game winner. So this is like you do or die. So it could be a dive from the infield to like stop a ball and throw it to first. Right. It could be anything. This is a game winner, and he did a lot. He always loved to do game winners with me.
Gotcha.
Just because I would just throw my body anywhere.
Right.
I would be diving and trying to catch balls over the fence and stuff like that.
Well, that catch there is always going to be a top 10. Like it was top 10 ESPN.
Yeah, it was number 1. That one was.
Yes, that was crazy. But it's like I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if I can try to put it on.
Sink it into there.
Yeah, sink it in here. But even the girl that was on first, and I don't remember who it was, but they took off like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, they were almost the third, I think.
Yeah, and then you're like tag up.
Yeah, because it was 1-0, and it was freezing that game. It was 1-0, and Lily that year, she had this thing in the 7th inning. The girl, she would throw, I don't know, fatties sometimes, and they would just get launched.
Oh,
but it was only in the 7th inning. She would go all 7 innings until that one. So they were winning that game if they had a home run. So, yeah, that one was pretty sweet.
Let's see. That was 2015.
Okay.
So, yeah, the amazing, let's see. I'm looking it up right here. And you were playing
NC State, I think.
Yep, NC State. That's right. NC State. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That was one of the best things that I've pretty much like that is a softball. If you want to teach somebody how to like, hey, you want to do this, you want to be able to do this, start here.
Yeah,
this would be awesome. And that was toward the end of the year, correct? It was it was cold. You said so. It was probably
it was probably like February.
Okay,
it was probably like a either a preseason game. I would think it would be a preseason game. Okay. It's not a fall game.
Gotcha. So we'll fast forward to SEC tournament. You guys win it. Heading to the World Series again. It's not like you haven't been there before.
Yeah.
Was it a different feel? Because they always say, I know it's a tournament and it's not just one game like football or, like at least baseball, they've got one team to play. This is, you could play multiple teams. Mm-hmm. Was it a different feel this time? Did you guys feel like, okay, we've been here before, we've done this? Is it something like that mentality? Like, we're not, was it different than the first time is what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little bit. It was a little like if I were to describe it, I would say choppier. Yeah. That in 2014 it was so smooth. I think 2015 season was super choppy. Like, right. But then it seems like every time postseason came, everything gelled. So it was a little bit different feel during the whole season, but that postseason it gelled. Lauren Hager was like Hannah Rogers the year before. She pitched every postseason game and just crushed it until the championship game. Coach Walton liked to do that. And then he had Delaney Gorley come in and start the last game of the championship series. And she went, or the first game of the championship series. I can't remember which one it was. And she just killed it. And then Lauren came in and finished it. And in just the same fashion, the last out was a little dribbler to the pitcher, Lauren. And she threw it out and then threw it up, and we got to do it all over again.
And you're like, wow, wait, where have I seen this before?
Yeah.
This has happened before, I know.
Yeah.
Now, when he would do that, like switch Lauren out, did she ever ask?
Question it?
Yeah. Did she ever?
I don't think so. It's not, especially in that one. She knew he had a plan. She knew he was doing what was best for the team.
Right.
All of our players were really good about that. They weren't selfish. They knew what he was doing, that it was going to be the best, for the outcome and for the team. And it was good for Delaney because then because Lauren was gone the next year and, she was going to be maybe the starter or, a big part Friday night person or something. And so it was also good for her to be in that as well. And so Lauren knew it wasn't just for this year. It was for the next year as well. He doesn't think just one step ahead. He's like chess, thinking
6 moves ahead.
Yeah,
yeah. So what? And he's got the credentials now where he's like, guys, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, you remember what happened last year? You want to do it again?
Mm-hmm.
We're almost there.
Yeah. Remember when I started you, Lauren? The same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that's happened with her. He's done it before.
Yeah.
So.
And I think she won Player of the Year that year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she Lauren broke the Babe Ruth record of 60 home runs and 60 wins, something like that.
Something like that. I know she set the record.
Yeah.
And that was
then she won the Player of the Year. And so she didn't even start the championship game, which is pretty selfless of her to not even
absolutely question it. That speaks that's highly of her character, where she would be like, no, this is all about me.
Yeah.
She wasn't like that at all.
No. And the thing about her is we had 6 a.m.s and we had to make times. And the time I had to make as a fast person was the same time that she had to make as a pitcher, taller, heavier. She made every single time.
Right.
I don't think we ever missed a time, really. That was the scariest part of college, by the way.
Right.
It was waking up for 6 a.m.s because we would have, and you don't know this going into college. Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the fall, you have to wake up at 5 and then go over to the football field and do running workouts. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays are your lifting days. That's why you get so jacked in college. But we had 2 people late one time. And like being late is the biggest no-no.
Yeah.
And I remember one time it was on Mondays, you went to the track and it was easy and smooth. And we would leave happy and somebody was late, Taylor Fuller. And the strength coach was like, everybody to the football field. I was like, And it was the worst workout ever.
Wow.
It was terrible.
Well, I mean,
and she didn't even get to do it. So she had to watch us all run the punishment run.
Kind of like, what is that, the movie, the Army movie, I'm sorry. People are going to be like, Army! It was the Marines. Sorry, Marines. Full Metal Jacket. When he would mess up, everybody had to do something to make up for it, and he had to watch them. Oh. And finally,
which is a worse punishment than actually having to do it.
Right. It's all psychosomatic. It's all like, look what you did.
Yeah. And we were furious at her. And then we walk up to her and she's crying. We're like, it's fine.
And they're like, no, really. And she's like, no, you're just being nice. And
I think it was like 60 20-yard sprints. So we would have to do 20-yard sprints. So sprint, and then you would walk back to the line, which is not any rest. Sprint. And then, after every 10, we would do like 300 flutter kicks. And then by the end of all my flutter kicks were like, it was by the end of the 60.
By the end, you're like, I can't move my legs. I can barely move.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was the scariest part of college, was the 6 a.m.s. I said, I'll never wake up at 6 a.m. again for a workout. Ever. Or 5 a.m. Never.
Yeah, 5 a.m. Wow. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Kona Ice. Kona Ice is a shaved ice truck that brings a one-of-a-kind tropical experience to you. Guests can flavor their own Kona Ice on our signature flavor wave, dance to our island music tunes, and enjoy a nutritious and delicious treat. Contact Jeremy and Marissa at 352-403-0515. Don't forget to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Penosauke's newest tap room, offering 14 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beers, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and puff. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to come hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app. Is the exterior of your home or business covered in dirt, mildew, or mold? Driveway or walkway stained? Pressure King can make your siding, deck, vents, and concrete look new again with no damage. Pressure King has cleaned the exterior of houses and businesses all over Sumter County area. Usually it takes less than a day and costs less than you would expect. Call AJ at 352-457-7209. You get older, you'll get up at 5 a.m. just for no reason. I can, like this morning, I got up at 5 a.m. I'm up.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's great.
I would rather sleep, but I can't. Once you're up, you're up. So tournament, she went. You guys win. Did they do anything different this year when you guys won? Did you get interviewed again?
I didn't have a good championship series, so I did not. Yeah, that was okay. I had that pitcher for Michigan. She was a left-handed pitcher that she had a screwball that would come into me, and I just could not get not a screwball, a curveball, and I could not. It would get on my hands. I had a really bad.
Trying to jam you.
Yeah, she did really bad. Even whenever I went pro, I still couldn't hit her. She was like the one pitcher that just really got me. Oh, wow. Haley Wagner. Yeah, she was just the one that, and my batting average against lefties and righties was significantly higher. So like lefties, it was like, I was hitting like 600 or 700, against righties, I was hitting like 200.
Right.
So I loved lefties, but this one I did not. So yeah, I didn't get interviewed. But I mean, we did the same thing. We dogpiled, got to go in. We didn't do the scene in the locker room, but we hung out. I think I took something from the field, which is probably against the law.
Okay. We're going to have NCAA come out. Excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me, we need to talk to you, please.
It was
proof.
Me and Bailey Castro did it. We took like a bunch of signs. I have it in my house, in like my little I call it like my woman cave.
Yeah.
And with Devin in there too.
Yeah. Like and
Devin. No, he was a great football player. He just
yeah. I just thought you meant you didn't give him any space to put his stuff in. Just like
he had his Stetson.
That's why I'm out here.
He has one. He has like one picture just one picture up, and then it's like Florida, 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 Florida. Yeah, I didn't give him any space.
And that's okay. We're cool with it. Just so you know, the man is always cool with giving up the space for the lady.
Good.
Just so you know. Yeah. I love the garage. I love being out in the garage.
Yeah. It's like your house.
It's my own little domicile. So, 2-time national champion, 3-time SEC. Senior year comes up. Mm-hmm. First of all, those championship years, who was the funny? You said Lauren was the funniest person on the team?
Lauren was really funny, and Bailey Castro was hilarious. Yeah. I love
Bailey.
Yes.
She was so cool.
That girl was hilarious.
My dad and
I was always doing crazy stuff with Bailey, like stealing signs and the hitting mats that say World Series on it. Yeah, we were always doing crazy stuff. She was like my
They're going to go look for it like... Where's that man?
Well, it says 2015 on it.
Oh, well, then never mind. Yes. It's dated. You're good. You're good.
They would have thrown it away anyways.
They're going to throw it away anyways.
Just give it to the needy.
And Devin.
Yeah, and Devin.
So, yeah, funny, my dad and I, we would watch all the games, especially tournament. Mm-hmm. And Bailey was one of our favorites. She was cool.
She would swing out of her shoes.
Oh my gosh, she had a swing.
I think it might have been the Michigan game. She swung so hard and swung and missed that she tore her labrum. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I don't think she played in the last game of the series because she had a torn labrum.
That's right. I do remember that now.
Yep.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was because she had torn that in her left arm.
Wow. What did Coach say about that?
About her
swinging so hard.
Yeah. I mean, he was just like, "That's who you are."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And nothing we can do about it.
I just didn't know if he would say something like, come up there and have a coaching member like, "All right, remember, I mean, we got," you know what I mean? Like, I know he's like you said, he's a perfectionist, so I didn't know if he would have some kind of solution for that. You know? Like, next time, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that, he just had the trainer work on her and see if make it lessen. Because if you look at any softball or baseball players, they all have I have a torn labrum right now, but not in this shoulder. I have it in my throwing shoulder, but hers was in the dominant, the one that leads you to where you're, and each is different. Like Devin has a torn labrum, but his was from getting his shoulder popping out of place. But every softball has a little bit of a torn labrum because you just, it's not meant, your body's not meant to do that. Yeah. So I went through with him the other day, and my shoulder about fell off. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was bad.
Oh my gosh. So you guys, senior year comes up. I mean, it's like a curtain call. How do you senior year is supposed to be your most special year, but it's hard to follow up your sophomore and your junior year. I mean,
and this one had a lot of pressure. So this year, that year, the 2000, we were seniors. We had been there. We had been to the World Series all 3 years of our career. We had a great freshman class coming in with Kelly Barnhill being a pitcher, and we were ranked 1 all through the year, so we were like expected to win.
Right.
And so that was a lot of pressure for 20, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds to have on their shoulders. And it kind of weighed on us. We had some issues in 6 a.m.s with people not making times. And then, we felt as seniors that we had to kind of be the leaders and say, hey, this isn't acceptable. This is not what we do here at Florida. This isn't the standards.
Right.
And so it's kind of a little bit of a, not division, but I guess you could say it was like just an issue that we had.
Yeah.
We weren't gelling together at all that year, even with all of the talent that we had.
Wow.
So that 2016 was rough, but we were so good. We were ranked 1 all the way up until postseason.
Right.
So we were winning games. It just wasn't the same feel.
Yeah, I mean, and I was gonna say, did you have someone younger that you kind of like took to, you took them under your wing, like, hey, this is what, like, I don't want to say your replacement, but the other center fielder.
So Amanda, yeah. So like when she first came in, Coach Walton likes to do it like competitively. He was like, she's going to be the center fielder over you. You're going to have to work really hard.
Yeah.
And I just remember coming in and we always had these tests at the beginning of, we can't call them tests. We had these workouts at the beginning of fall, and it was a triathlon. And I had won every single one for my first 3 years, 3 mile run, then the triathlon. Well, this one you had a partner, and Amanda was my partner. And so because we were going to be the same position, right. So it's like kind of that competitive, putting people against each other, but also showing them that they can work together.
Right.
Well, I was so mad that we did not win because we didn't. And everybody else, I'm hardcore. So everybody else is high-fiving their partners. And I did not high-five Amanda. I feel so bad. I was way too hardcore. But then by mid-season, me and her we were buds, best friends. We were always, when senior day, we were all crying. And but yeah, so it was probably me and her because, she was like the next center fielder, but she was better than me. Not in center field, but she was just, she's just got the swing for it. Her hitting was amazing. But she would probably be the girl that we would have to. Justin McLean, she was in the outfield. I kind of took her under my wing just for the outfield portion of it. She was a different hitter than me because she was a little slapper. But those two, I really loved those two that my senior year because they were the ones, Justine was in right and Amanda was in left.
Before that, who did you hang out with before that year? Was it?
Aubrey and Taylor Schwartz.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hung out, but those were, me and Aubrey were roommates ever since my sophomore year.
I gotcha.
So we had like the same personalities. We're a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Goofy. And then Taylor Schwartz, we roomed for sophomore year. I don't think junior and senior year, but we were still like all pretty close, the three of us. And
did you hang out with JJ?
No, I didn't. I mean, I saw him, but he was like a freshman, I think, when she was a senior.
Okay.
I think, but our seasons are linked up, so there wasn't a whole lot of hanging out. But we did get to, I got to go to so many cool parties. I remember going to one where it was like the quarterback of the football team, and it was fun.
What's it like being in a room full of athletes like that? Did you feel like you're like, even though they're football, I mean, you guys are all college athletes.
Yeah, it's not like they're celebrities
did you
mix, or anything.
Or did you guys was there like football's over here, softball y'all still over there? You know what I mean? Not like they would, but I'm saying it wasn't like that at all.
I guess everybody had like their own. I guess you would call them cliques. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. The soccer was wild. They loved to. They hung out with. They were social butterflies. Yeah. I feel like softball was kind of isolated. Our field was on like way far away but now they're like together. Softball and baseball are. So the field was really far away. We didn't stay in the same dorms as the athletes. So we were kind of like excluded from everybody. But like, come senior year, I feel like we mingled a lot more with the other athletes.
Gotcha.
Swimmers, gymnastics, stuff like that.
Did you know Keitra?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if she was still there.
She was there, but I didn't ever talk to her.
She's really nice, and she's like the only gymnast that I like got to hang around with. Like, she was really cool.
Yeah, she was awesome.
So when you were there, and I was there for your senior day, your last game I guess it is your last senior day, right?
Yeah, so it's the last home
home stand.
Series. Right. Then there's postseason as well.
Right. I do have your home run on video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my dad went crazy. You might as well have been one of his kids.
That is funny.
Yeah, he went. I have to if I can find it before you go. I have to show it to you, but you can hear my dad in the back going, "Yeah, baby." I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's so funny because he was so proud. He's still proud of you. And he would tell your mom all the time because he's here at school and like talk to her about how you doing and everything. And We just love. I mean, we're not the only ones, but we just love watching you guys do your thing up there. You guys represented not only Gator Nation, but the university, our program as well, our high school.
Yeah.
As a Raider, it was super cool to see somebody succeed like that. So
yeah, it was special for sure.
Oh, no doubt. So you graduate. Bittersweet moment, graduation. You get.
Yeah, so I actually graduated a semester after softball stopped.
Okay.
So I stayed there for another semester, and I tried like volunteering coaching to see if that was something that I was like interested in. But I ended up getting drafted. So I knew Kelsey and I think Taylor Fuller wanted to play pro afterwards because back in 2016, pro was like they had drafts and stuff.
Gotcha.
And so I'm laying in my PJs and just watching because I want to watch them get drafted. And Kelsey goes high to the USSSA Pride. I don't remember what round she went, probably first. And then I saw Taylor. Then I hear like about all these stats. So it was like center fielder, and then it hits this, has this many home runs, was this and this. I'm like, that sounds a lot like me. I'm like, and then it was like, yeah, and from the University of Florida, Kirsti Merritt drafted to the USSSA Pride. I was like, what?
Oh, that's so
and
cool.
And I flipped out. I like ran out, and my roommate, Miranda Craig, she's from here too.
Okay.
So she was my roommate at Florida because she was going to Florida too. So it was me, her, and Aubrey. I ran out, I'm like, I just got drafted. And she was like, this calls for champagne. So we just shook up the champagne and popped it.
That's when you put the goggles on?
I should have.
Right. In the apartment you did that?
We did it also. No.
I was about to say, Kirsti, you can't do that in the apartment.
No, we went.
That's a mess.
We went outside. Yeah,
do it on the patio.
Yes, but that's what I did. I have a video of it.
Do it in the parking lot.
That's because that's all there is.
No, right?
In apartments,
right?
So that was really cool because I told Coach Walton, I'm like, I don't want to play softball after college. I was burnt out. Pretty much, because after 4 years of just going hard, you're burnt out.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't want to play softball. Like, that's not something I'm interested in. Don't put me into this. And Coach Walton knew what I needed even when I didn't want to. He put my name in there and said, if this girl gets drafted, she's going to go and she's going to play. And I did. I ended up going over to the Pride and playing there. They were in Kissimmee at the time. Now they're in Melbourne.
Okay.
So I went over there, and then I just fell in love with the game all over again.
Yeah.
And learned from the best, Kelly Crutchman and Andrea Duran, who I watched in the Olympics as a child. Mm-hmm. So I played and then I played with Monica Abbott and all kinds of stuff. She wasn't on the Pride, but that step to the Pride got me all these different opportunities to go play in Japan. Right. Then play for the USA team to see, because like you said, every year I got better.
Yeah.
And it just continued to get better and better as I went. And so when I ended my career of not making the USA team for the Olympics, I was probably peaked out at like what, the best I could be.
Right.
And it was pretty cool. Just that one life-changing thing that Coach Walton did.
Yeah.
Got me to all these opportunities. So
unexpected turn leads you elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Playing over in Japan, how was that?
It was a transition for sure, because they do things a lot differently here.
Oh, yeah.
They have different, like, what is important, I guess. They practice for like 10 hours. It's outrageous.
Oh, wow.
They practice all day. But we're called like gaijins is the name for foreigners, and we did not. We did not have to practice the same amount as them.
Oh, gotcha.
So we would leave early, but it was hard to transition to their way of life at first. But then after my first year, I kind of realized, okay, I don't have to go against what they're doing at all times. I can kind of go with the flow. And then I enjoyed it a lot more second year. And my second year was a lot better as well, stats wise and everything.
Did you have a favorite food?
Yes. So it's called yakiniku. So it's where you cook the food in front of you, but their meat over there is just I think it's all Wagyu. It's so good.
Gotcha.
It's that was the best. So you cook it in front of you and all that. So yakiniku was really good. And then I had like a favorite, a chocolate naan. They would make like a chocolate naan. That those two were the best. Their food over there was amazing.
Did you learn any Japanese while you were there?
I did.
Really?
I had a tutor. So
okay.
Yeah, so I had a Japanese tutor. It does, where she would come over twice a week or once a week, depending on how crazy the schedule was, and help teach me. So for 2 years I did. I've lost a lot of it. I mean, I still can count to 10 pretty well. But I knew how to like say like certain things.
Yeah.
So, but right now what I remember is like small phrases, what I would have to say over and over again. So like I remember I ran into a fence one time or jumped over a fence and hit a fence, and they always ask you, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Like a bunch of times. And I'd have to say, daijoubu, 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 over and over again. That means like, I'm okay. I'm okay. Because they're very helpful people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're like, if you fell down or you like got hurt, and they always have that cold spray. Like you would get hit by a pitch and they would like get the cold spray out for you. I'm like, I had to tell the translator, I'm like, if you tell them if they bring out that cold spray, I'm leaving. Like, I don't need cold spray for getting hit by a pitch. And so you
don't know how many times I've been hit by a pitch. I don't need the cold spray.
We don't need this. I feel daijoubu. That's
awesome. Yeah, no, when I worked at Disney, I worked at Epcot, and then I would ask, like I love other languages, but I would always ask, and I really didn't want to do it like textbook style because that's not how people talk, you know? So I'm like, I'll just ask people that speak the language.
Yeah. And
so I would ask phrases and stuff, and I didn't know that a lot of people do a lot of play on words, like especially like if you worked with you and I are colleagues, right? And at the end of the day, you say "Otsukaresama deshita."
Yeah.
Which is like good job.
Yes.
Like I'm like, really? You had to say all that?
I'd have to say that every time I would leave the field.
Yeah. Otsukaresama deshita?
Yes. Well, I'd have to say like "Osaki ni" like means like, can I leave? Osaki ni blah blah blah. I can never say it right, so I would just kind of like jumble it all together.
Well, this is how I learned it. They said old Scotty got himself a desk job. Mm-hmm. That's how you had to remember it. Because I'm like, old Scotty got it. And then you had to say it over and over. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do that.
Or you could say like short, like Osaki ni. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure like that's like a maybe like a short version. They had like short versions you could say, unless it was like, but when I was saying it to the boss, like the head coach, I had to say that whole line every time before leaving.
Because it's different.
Yeah.
There's a movie, Beverly Hills Ninja, Chris Farley. He goes, Ohio konbanwa, which means
good morning.
Good morning, good night.
Oh yeah, good night.
Makes no sense whatsoever. Good morning, good night. And so I would always, because I knew that, so I would always say that, and they'd make them laugh. And they're like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah, and they make you say good morning to every single person, and like in America, that's not like a thing that you do. Like if somebody walked on, right. If you walked onto the bus, like in America, you wouldn't say like, good morning, Kirsti, good morning, Kirsti, good morning, Kirsti, from every single person. Yeah. You just say, good morning, everybody. So like, I would just be like, Ohio, everyone. Like everybody, it's 5 a.m. Yeah. We don't have to say good morning to me.
Yeah, no. And you don't.
But they're sweet. I love them.
Oh, they're so cool. Yeah. But love the culture. Mm. I would love to go over there just to say I've been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm still trying to make that comeback, and I would want to go over there with my family. And
yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
That flight, though, oh my gosh.
With toddlers would be mess.
Oh, 15-hour flight? Yeah, no doubt.
Well, if I would go to California first.
Break it up.
And then go that day, and then go from California straight into Osaka or wherever, where it's just one flight where I don't have to. Yeah. Devin almost died one time flying over there. He went through like this huge storm over the ocean. He was so scared. He ended up going to Korea. To
that's
stop.
The thing that's scary, because there's nowhere to land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're like,
I would
Hawaii, maybe? Yeah. I don't know, but that's like trying to hit a wheat tin off
and it's still like far.
Yeah.
So that I would want to go back for sure.
Yeah. Did you have some fans over there? Japanese fans?
They love softball over there, softball and baseball.
Or are they just like, these are my homeboys over here? I'm sticking with my fellow Japanese.
You know, there wasn't a lot of Americans over there because you could only have 2 Americans per team.
Right.
But they loved my blonde hair. They thought it was the coolest thing because they all have darker hair.
Yeah.
But they just loved, so they would always come up, you know, and take pictures and just think that I was so cool. I'm like, guys, I'm not really even that cool. I'm not that cool. You don't want to take a picture of me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're over there for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, you are cool. I mean, you are over there. It's not like you're on vacation.
Yeah.
You're over there doing what you would do if you were in Melbourne or Kissimmee. No, but they do take care of their people over there. And I learned that not just theme parks. They're all about like what they do. Even just for the elderly, you know, the elderly, they're the older generation, man, they're like cherished over there. They take care of them so well.
They take care of all of their bathrooms. Everything's clean. They pick up trash. It's a cool culture.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go over there one day. I'm just dreading that flight. I'm like, can I just take a boat or something? Maybe
you could just sleep. Get one of those.
Get on one of those barges, I'll be in one of those shipping containers, sleeping in there. We're here. So what? Mom, now you've got 2 kids. What's your next step?
Next up, so I sell insurance. That's like my job, home and auto.
Okay.
So I do that from home with my kids, which is great. So I still get
to spend your own hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to spend time with them, which you don't really get much work done. But
no, you're refereeing half the time.
Yeah.
Put that down.
Yeah. I'm like, I just want to let you know I work from home, so you might hear some screeching in the background. Most people are pretty okay with it. They understand. Yeah. So I do that.
Have you seen the video of the guy on the press conference, or he's in a board meeting, and his kid just busts open the kid literally does and then the mom like kicks open the door and grabs the kid.
No,
but he's like, and then the kid, and then as the kid walks in. The little sibling is in a walker or like one of those creepers or whatever they call them, and like bust open and he's like, and what's funny is he's got his he's in the conference like this, and he can see the reflection in the back. Yeah, like they're busting it on him, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Because there's really nothing you cannot control them sometimes.
No, and the mom's like dragging them out like they're being sucked out of an airplane. Like, ah. He's like, sorry everybody, that was my kid. Sorry about that.
But most people are understanding, so that's good. Like,
oh yeah. That I mean everybody knows that's gonna. Today in today's society, maybe 5 years ago they'd have been like, oh.
Yeah.
But now they're like, nah, who cares?
Yeah.
As long
as you get my my quote, as long as you get my insurance right, then I'm good.
As long as it's affordable and you cover me, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm doing that, and then Devin, he's working as a PTA still, so cool. And he's really good at his job. So just doing that, and then I've been talking to the Pride about coming back next year because, like I said, June is just not.
It's too close.
It's too close because I just want to, you want to be the best that you can be, and in a month it wouldn't be that.
Right.
So I've been talking to him about that and potentially coming back and doing that for a summer and dipping my toes back in there. And
that's cool.
I think that would be cool for the girls to be able to see that and be around that atmosphere and kind of get back into something that I loved and maybe hopefully getting them to love it.
Right. Who I'm gonna ask you a question now. Who is a better athlete, your mom or your aunt?
Well, I've heard my mom.
But what do they say is what I'm saying. Like who considers themselves a better athlete?
I think Aunt Kim was like a bulldog. Or no, they were both like bulldogs is what Uncle John. I would say that they say that mom was. Yeah. Mom. Yeah.
And your mom played shortstop? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your Aunt Kelly was center.
I don't know what Aunt Kim she I don't even know what position she played.
I think John said she played center field.
She played center?
Yeah, because that's why I'm thinking the transition. I'm like, so she started there, and I'm like, it's funny how both of them played the same position you played. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm
because that's where you put your athletes, and they were probably both athletes.
Yeah, that's true. And they're both state champions, and you're a national champion. So I mean, wow, you guys have got it kind of figured out on the softball side.
Yeah, our family is just full of athletes. Yes. It's outrageous.
Now, your Uncle John says he's not an athlete. He told me that.
He said he's not an athlete?
He said he said out of the three, out of the siblings, he's number 3.
Oh.
That's what he said on the...
It's hard to admit something
I know.
like that.
He said my sisters were way better than I was. And I'm like, oh, well.
And it's just hard to compare because it's from a girl to a guy.
Well,
so.
and that's true, but I like how he put them first.
Yeah.
That's
well, he knows they used to just beat the crap out of him.
I know, that's what he said. He was like, yeah, I'm sure that he just...
he got ganged up on. He knew that it would happen again if he didn't say it.
He had to make sure he said the right things so they didn't come punch him and he went after the...
Yeah.
Like, I heard what you said about me. You know? No, I'm so glad that you're considering coming back too, because that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, like you said, after your senior year of college, you're done. Mm-hmm. You're done. And that's the thing is, people normally, they step away from things themselves, what their dreams are, so they'll have, you know, some other dream, like kids, marriage, whatever. And a lot of people don't ever go back.
Yeah.
So I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Is it something that you want to try to make like a run for? Like you're going to be there for a while, or just something you're just going to see what's going to happen?
Yeah, I would have to just see what's going to happen.
I know you said dip your toes, but I don't know how long of a stint that was.
So that'd be like a 3 or probably a 4 year.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they signed you for a 3-year deal. Or?
Yeah. So the start, I'm sure they would start off with a year deal, just because it's been 3.5 years since I've played.
Gonna make sure
that everything is There's
still something in the tank.
Yeah, it's kind of like riding a bike. I went out and swung and took some fly balls and threw, and everything was still smooth. But it's just whether I can hit live pitching, whether I can track down a ball, and I am 4 years older, and the body does not.
It's not very forgiving.
Yeah, it doesn't recover as well.
Are you doing any kind of teaching? Like, are you not coaching, but
lessons
or anything?
Not right now, because it's just, my life is just crazy.
Well, yeah, you're super busy.
Yeah, so I do if a friend needed it. I know Coach Borum's daughter, who has a pretty swing. Easton, she has a really good swing. Yeah, she could be the next. Yeah, she could be.
Would her dad be all right with her being a Gator though?
I mean, he would have to be. Tennessee is pretty good this year. I think they're ranked 4th.
Tennessee's really good.
They probably should be happy.
Not just that, in baseball as well. Football, they had a great year.
Yeah.
But baseball, they're really good as well. I mean, they've always had good pitching. Again, it goes back to what we said about earlier. Pitching. Mm-hmm. Pitching.
Yeah.
So, how old are your kids?
Harley is 2.5, so she'll be 3 in August. And Blake, she is 6 months old.
Okay.
She's small. She's tiny.
Well, I'm sure they're ready to see their mom do some good things.
Yeah.
I just, you don't really get to see people for very long when you go to see them, like you or Kiki when I go up there to UF, and you don't really have that much time to talk to people, because you're busy and you got, like I said, you're working out, you're doing your things. You don't, you need time for yourself. But I always love that. Especially the softball program, they took time for anybody who came. They always signed after the game, or that was a cool moment because kids, that's how you draw more interest in the sport. You take care of the kids, the future of that sport, and I think it was very cool how you guys did that. That was now they haven't done anything to that stadium, have they? Like, it's the same stadium, though?
Not the same one that I was in.
Okay, it's a totally different stadium, right?
Yeah, well, so they upgraded everying. So, put more seating in. I
haven't been since that
it is beautiful.
Game, yeah.
Well, like I said, I feel like we funded this.
Yeah. Well, no doubt. I mean, you really did have something to do with it. I mean, it just like like, our new stadium at the high school. I mean, that was built by the past people.
Yep.
I'm not singling anybody out because it was a collective, effort. There's all these people that played before, did what they had to do, and did it well enough to where we got recognition, and we have to keep up with other schools though. So
yeah,
it's going to look really sweet. I can't wait for that.
It is, too. Yeah.
Softball got there, filled, redone. You can finally be in the dugout and not have to look through the wall to see the batter.
Yeah.
Like back in the day. Fixed all that. Baseball got their field is really, really cool. We're just trying to compete, trying to keep it up with all these other places around us that shall remain not said. But anyways, the green team. But I think we're doing a good job of keeping up, and I'm just glad you came today. I haven't really ever got to sit down and talk to you about any of this. That's why it's kind of like, did you do that this time? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm just glad that you had a chance to come in. And thank you for taking your time today and coming out and just telling us how your experience went and how that felt, this and that. And I think it's such a cool experience. Regardless if you play whatever sport, if you win a national championship, it doesn't matter what it is. You're a national champion. You'll always be a national champion. So, but anyways, I think that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up, guys. Thank you for joining us for today's episode with the national champion. I'll say Kirsti Merritt. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Check us out on Spotify and YouTube. And as always, it's about that time. We'll see you later, guys. Take care.